Hi everyone, it's Saul. But today's video isn't about me. It's about Luna, my Phidippus ardens jumping spider. She's in there somewhere. With that in mind, if you're not a spider person, then this might not be the video for you. Sorry. So I've had Luna for nearly 4 months now, and people are always asking me, how's the spider? Can we see the spider? When are you going to show us the spider? Etc, etc. And unfortunately, I've never been able to oblige because she's very shy. Seriously, she's more shy than any other jumping spider I've kept. However, today I'm going to be redecorating her enclosure, which gives me a rare opportunity to actually get her out of there and show her to you on camera. I've got some fresh substrate and a new plant for her, but first of all we have to get everything else out of there, including Luna. So it looks like she's in a spiral right now. She's always in that spiral, loves the spiral. I've put her on my bed for now. She won't come out straight away because she'll be quite stressed from being moved about, but we'll check back in on her later and hopefully, once she's calmed down a little bit, she'll come out of there. In the meantime, I'm going to mix up some substrate. So we got here a dehydrated cocoa fibre block. All I'm going to do is pop that in a jug, add some water, let it soak for a bit, and then mix it all together. So while that's soaking, I'm going to take all the rest of the plants and branches out of the enclosure and empty out the old substrate. Okay, I've completely emptied the enclosure and given it a little bit of a wipe down. I was going to film myself doing that, but the suction pads on these plants are incredibly strong, and in the end I had to cut the camera while I pried them away from the enclosure. But while I was doing that, Luna has finally come out of her spiral, so let's go and see her. Okay, there she is. I don't want to get too close with my phone because it might startle her, but she is finally out and about. So this would probably be a good time for me to tell you a little bit more about Luna. As I mentioned at the start of the video, she is a Phidippus ardens jumping spider. This species is very closely related to the much more well-known Phidippus johnsoni, which is one of the most common jumping spiders in North America. I bought Luna from the spider shop for £25, and I would highly recommend them to anyone in the UK who's interested in spiders. They mainly specialise in tarantulas, but they have lots of other spiders as well, and even some other inverts like beetles, isopods, mantises, and so on. All of my previous jumping spiders were also from the spider shop, as well as pretty much all the equipment and live food, which, in case you were wondering, is mealworms. Now, jumping spiders, of course, are not big web makers. They'll spin themselves a little hammock to live in, but they don't use their webs to catch prey. Instead, they actively hunt for their food. They can eat all sorts of live foods, providing they can catch it and it's not too big, but I've always used mealworms simply because they're very widely available and don't really require their own maintenance like some other live foods do. Anyway, that's enough admiring Luna for now. We've got a job to be getting on with, so I'm just going to contain her in here for a little while to make sure she doesn't wander off while I prepare the enclosure. Okay, getting back to the substrate now, it does appear to have soaked up most of the water, so I'm going to start mixing that together and then we'll get it straight into the enclosure. It's a hands-on job, but it's got to be done. And there we have it. I did add a little extra water just to break up some of the larger lumps, but there is our substrate. So now that we've got the freshly made substrate, I'm going to load this into the enclosure, and there should be just enough there to fill it about an inch deep. Okay, so the new substrate is all in there and nicely leveled off, which means we can finally start to add the decorations back in, and I'm going to start with the new hanging plant. So this hanging plant is a ruscus. It was $3.99 from the spider shop. One of my previous jumping spiders, Bowler, actually had this exact same plant in her enclosure and she loved it, so hopefully Luna will too. Next up are the other leaves. I actually ended up rearranging these off camera just to fill the space a little bit better, and then of course the spiral. Now I already know that Luna's going to make her hammock in the spiral, so it's very important to position this perfectly, funneling down towards the centre of the enclosure with easy access to and from the surrounding foliage. Then we have the other branches. There's this short, thick one, which I'm going to put towards the back of the enclosure, and this thinner, knotted one, which is going to go towards the front. Last but not least, we have the food bowl, which I don't actually use to feed Luna, but I've put it in there anyway, just to fill out the remaining space. And there we have it. Luna's new enclosure is ready to go. So that's the enclosure all done, which means there's only one more thing to do. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to put Luna back in her enclosure now. Doesn't seem like she really wants to go. Oh, there we go. She is officially in the enclosure, and I just know she's going to go straight for that spiral. What did I tell you? She loves that place. That is her home. So she's just having a little nosy about now, seeing what's changed. But she should settle in quite soon, and hopefully she'll enjoy her new home. That is going to be all for today's video. Luna is safe and sound in her freshly redecorated enclosure, so we're going to leave it there. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and hopefully there'll be more spider content to come, but until then, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. As a little bonus, here's some uncut footage of Luna chilling in her spiral for an entire minute. Sorry about the shaky camera.